One of the most iconic songs there is. Every time you think of that, you think of the Johnny Carson Show, and every time you think of Johnny Carson, you think of his legendary band leader, Doc Severinsen. Doc joins us now by phone. Doc, welcome to St. Louis and welcome to the Big 550 KTRS.
Oh, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to being there.
Did you ever get tired of hearing that song?
Never. It's not a great song, by the way, but the meaning that goes with it for me, and I think for just about everybody, is pretty significant.
Have you ever added up how many times you've actually played that song?
Yeah, I don't keep track of anything.
You're going to be in town Saturday night at the Two Hill for part of Jazz St. Louis. It's going to run from the 18th, April 18th through the 20th, and you're going to be in town Saturday night, April 20th. 4 tickets, $35. That's it at the Two Hill Performing Arts ticket office. Online at twohill.org or by phone. We'll get you that phone number here in a bit. Doc, how are things going for you?
Well, fine as frogs' hair. Everything is perfect.
Getting ready for this interview, I did not know this, but you joined The Tonight Show before Johnny Carson.
That's true. A lot of people don't know that because that really dates me. But, I don't care.
How did you become the band leader for the Steve Allen Show?
I wasn't the band leader for the Steve Allen Show. I was in the band.
Oh, you were in the band.
Skitch Anderson was the band leader. And then when he went with Johnny as the band leader, he made sure I was in the band, and which I didn't really want to do, by the way. And then Skitch decided to leave, and a year later I took over.
Now, why did you not want to be in the band in the first place?
I was busy in New York doing all kinds of dates, and I had a lot of freedom, and I thought, I don't know, I don't want to do a 9-to-5 job. and then it turned out to be absolutely the best thing I ever did in my life.
Did somebody have to talk you into that, or did you finally come around to your senses?
Oh, it didn't take me long to figure it out by myself, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best job that any musician ever had.
You had an awful lot of freedom at that job. You could come and go as you pleased, right?
Not exactly. NBC had a thing worked out where one of the three of us had to be there at all times. And so sometimes I was the band leader, sometimes I was the announcer. And it worked out pretty good, although I'll tell you this, Johnny and Ed had a lot more time off than I did. But I didn't say anything.
No, of course not. He walked off in 1992, and you walked off with him.
That's right.
Yeah. Was there any chance you were going to stay on?
Nope.
No, that was it.
And believe me, that I'm happy about that.
Today, go ahead.
I've got a whole new life that started in 1992 in May when the whole thing ended up. And that's what I'm coming to St. Louis to do. I've got a big band that I would have been proud to stand in front of at any time in my life. I've got absolutely world-class, brilliant players, and we don't go out and stay on the road. We go out for a week or two at a time, or sometimes more, but we play big band music the way I want to do it.
Big band is, I don't want to say the genre is lost on the young kids, but every time they hear a big band song, they always turn to me and say, boy, I sure do like big band.
It's without fail. And they have a lot of education along those lines in the schools nowadays, so that you got kids that are 14 years old that know everything you'd ever want to know about big bands.
Yeah. It really is one of those things that I don't care how old you are, you end up finding yourself tapping your toe and, doing a little jig every time you hear a big band song.
Something that's happening, I think, around the country is that, and I dare say it's happening, has been happening for a long time in St. Louis, is that a town like St. Louis would have maybe one or two actual big bands. And you don't become that aware of it because they just play for the joy of it. But a lot of cities like Columbus, Ohio, Naples, Florida, New York City, and different places have their own big bands, which are a part of the cultural community, just like the symphony is. And they have guest artists that come. They keep the same personnel, and people are catching on to it. I don't say the big bands are going to come back with the way it used to be, but that kind of music has got too much in it to just be dropped and forgotten.
I agree. Doc Severinsen is our guest. He's coming to St. Louis, part of the 10th anniversary of the Greater St. Louis Jazz Festival. He'll be at the Two Hill Saturday night with his big band, Two Hill Performing Arts Center ticket office, online at twohill.org for tickets by phone 314-516-4949, or just Google Two Hill Performing Arts Center, and you can get tickets for Saturday night with Doc Severinsen. Doc, is it true, you're a world-class trumpeter, but is it true that you first wanted to play the trombone?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I was too small to handle the instrument. So my dad said, my dad was a violin player, besides being a dentist. And so he got me on a trumpet because it was an instrument that I could handle physically. And I was fortunate. My dad was an unbelievable character. And he came over from Europe. He was a bohemian and became a dentist and played the violin for many years for his own enjoyment. And he taught all my music to me.
He was a violin-playing dentist.
Yeah. Now, to do both of those things at the same time, then you really got something.
I was going to say, because a dentist, they're used to that drilling noise all day long. I'm surprised that didn't ruin his hearing.
No, he had plenty good ears. Man, I'm the luckiest person that ever lived in that respect, that to have a father who could, really, really teach you something.
Well, Doc Severinsen, you call yourself the luckiest man on earth, but I'm not so sure you were stuck wearing all those flashy coats every night.
I have no problem with that.
Was that your choice?
Yes. And, when Johnny hired me to take over the band, I didn't know what it was going to wear. I just knew that it wouldn't be a blue suit like all the guys in the band, because that was the tradition. So I had to wear something different. And within a short amount of time, due to the cultural revolution that was happening with the Beatles and rock and roll and unrest on the campuses, there really was a revolution that was occurring. And I thought it was high time for it, and I was right in the middle of it.
Doc Severinsen, legendary band leader for The Tonight Show, going to be in St. Louis Saturday night at the Two Hill, part of the 10th anniversary Greater St. Louis Jazz Festival. Last question for you, Doc Severinsen. During the whole late-night wars now, have any of the band leaders called you up and asked you for advice, whether they were going to work for Leno or Jimmy Fallon or Letterman? Anybody call you for advice?
No, but I've had calls from them in the past, about how did you do it and what do you think of this and that. And I wish them all well. And I'm glad I did it, and it's over. And now I'm having I'm at the best part of my life.
Well, we'll get to see a small portion of that Saturday night at the Two Hill. Doc Severinsen, you have a safe trip to St. Louis, and we will see you Saturday night at the Two Hill. You will, and if you're there, you're going to have a ball. Doc Severinsen, ladies and gentlemen, the Tonight Show band leader in St. Louis, the 10th Annual Greater St. Louis Jazz Festival at the Two Hill Saturday night. 4 tickets go to twohill.org. Doc, be good. Safe travels.
Thank you very much, Matt.